What if I told you that a PhD student studying criminal justice and criminology became the very monster he was supposedly learning to catch? What if I told you that 4 innocent college students were brutally murdered in their sleep, and the case that followed would grip an entire nation for over a year? This is the story of the Idaho Student Murders, a case so shocking, so twisted, that it reads like a psychological thriller. But this isn't fiction. This is real. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why millions of people became obsessed with solving this mystery. It's November 12, 2022. Moscow, Idaho, a quiet college town where the biggest worry is usually a failed exam or a broken heart. The University of Idaho campus is winding down for the weekend. Students are heading to parties, making plans, living their lives. At 1122 King Road, a white 2-story house sits nestled in a neighborhood popular with college kids. 6 roommates call this place home. Tonight, 4 of them are about to become victims of one of the most brutal crimes in Idaho's history. Let me introduce you to the victims, because they were so much more than just headlines. Ethan Chapin, 20 years old, a freshman majoring in recreation, sport, and tourism management, known for his infectious smile and kind heart. Xana Kernodle, 20, a junior studying marketing. She was dating Ethan, and they were inseparable. Madison Mogen, 21, a senior majoring in marketing. Her friends called her Maddie. She was known for her bubbly personality and love of life. Kaylee Goncalves, 21, Maddie's best friend since childhood. She was about to graduate and had just gotten her dream job. She was supposed to move to Texas in just a few months. These weren't just random victims. They were friends, lovers, dreamers, people with futures that were about to be stolen. The timeline of that night reads like a horror movie. Kaylee and Maddie spend the evening at a local bar called the Corner Club. They're captured on surveillance cameras, laughing, dancing, having the time of their lives. Meanwhile, Ethan and Xana are at a party at the Sigma Chi house. Around 1:45 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie return home. They stop at a food truck, their final public appearance caught on camera. They're giggling, ordering pasta, completely unaware that they have less than 2 hours to live. Ethan and Xana return to the house around the same time. The 4 friends are now all under one roof. 2 other roommates, Dylan and Bethany, are also in the house, sleeping in the basement level. What happens next is where this case becomes truly chilling. Sometime between 3 o'clock and 4 a.m., an intruder enters the house. Armed with a large knife later identified as a K-bar-style military knife, this person moves through the house with deadly precision. The killer strikes on the 2nd and 3rd floors. Kaylee and Maddie are in Maddie's room on the 3rd floor. Ethan and Xana are in Xana's room on the 2nd floor. The attack is swift, brutal, and silent enough that the surviving roommates don't realize anything is wrong. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, actually sees the killer. Dylan's testimony would later become crucial to the case. She hears what she thinks are her roommates playing with the dog upstairs. Then she hears crying. She opens her door and sees nothing. She hears a male voice say, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." She opens her door again. This time, she sees a figure in black clothing and a mask walking toward her. She describes him as having bushy eyebrows. Instead of attacking her, he walks past her toward the sliding glass door and leaves. Dylan is frozen in fear. She locks her door and doesn't call police until the next morning. This detail would later spark intense debate online. Why didn't she call 911 immediately? But trauma experts explain that freezing is a natural response to terror. The killer vanishes into the night, leaving behind one of the most puzzling crime scenes investigators have ever encountered. When police arrive at 11:58 a.m. on November 13th, they find a scene of unimaginable horror. 4 young lives cut short in the most brutal way possible. The killer has left behind minimal evidence. No clear fingerprints. No DNA that immediately points to a suspect. But this isn't just any crime scene. This is a crime scene in the digital age, where every movement is potentially captured, every phone call recorded, every social media post analyzed. The investigation explodes across the internet. Amateur detectives on TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube begin dissecting every detail. Theories fly. Was it a crime of passion? A serial killer? Someone the victims knew? The police remain tight-lipped, releasing only small details. They're looking for a white Hyundai Elantra seen in the area. They believe the killer entered through the sliding glass door. They think the victims were targeted, not random. But with each passing day, the case grows colder. The internet grows more obsessed. And somewhere out there, a killer is walking free. For 7 weeks, it seems like the case might never be solved. Then, on December 30th, 2022, police arrested 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. And here's where this story becomes almost too bizarre to believe. Kohberger isn't some random drifter or career criminal. He's a PhD student in criminal justice and criminology at Washington State University, just 15 minutes from the crime scene. He's studying the very field dedicated to catching people like him. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. A man studying how to solve crimes allegedly commits one of the most heinous crimes in Idaho's history. When police dig deeper into Kohberger's background, disturbing details emerge. He's allegedly been following the victims on social media. His phone data shows he's been near the house multiple times before the murders. He owns a white Hyundai Elantra, the exact car police were looking for. Most damning of all, his DNA is allegedly found on a knife sheath left at the crime scene. What makes this case so captivating isn't just the murders themselves. It's the perfect storm of elements that create an irresistible mystery. You have attractive, relatable victims living their best lives. You have a suspect who should have been the last person to commit such a crime. You have a small town thrown into chaos. You have social media detectives convinced they can solve the case better than police. The case spawned thousands of hours of online content. Every detail was analyzed, every theory debated. People became obsessed with finding justice for Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. Even now, with recent developments in the case, including Kohberger's plea deal, the public fascination continues. New documentaries are being released. New details are emerging. The story is far from over. The Idaho Student Murders remind us that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. That the person studying criminal justice might be the very criminal we need justice from. That 4 bright futures can be extinguished in a single night of terror. As this case continues to unfold in the courts, we're left with haunting questions about justice, obsession, and the thin line between those who study darkness and those who embrace it. What do you think? Was this a crime of opportunity or something more sinister? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on this case and other true crime stories that are gripping the nation, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because in the world of true crime, the story is never really over.